Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. An absolute pleasure to have you with me here today. And as you probably gathered from the thumbnail there, today's video is going to be all about taking a closer look at the San Diego Comic-Con G.I. Joe Classified reveals that took place on Thursday, the 25th of July. Was it on Thursday? It was on Thursday. Taking me a little while, as always, behind the curve, taking me a little while to sit down, get the video recorded, make some notes, do the editing, all that good stuff. But here I am, ready to share some thoughts. We've got some render reveals, we've got some name-only reveals, we've got some pre-order reveals, some stuff that's already gone up for pre-order. So I'm going to walk them through, have a little chat about them, and, you know, just share some thoughts and commentary, and then invite you to the comments down below to share your thoughts and commentary. Just quickly, though, before I get into the meat of it, I'm not going to cover the Rattler in this video. I've got some thoughts about that too, but I'm going to make a separate video on that subject. So stick around, keep an eye on the channel for that. So I'm just going to take a look at the other reveals outside of the Rattler. All right, well, that's enough intro stuff. Let's get into it, and let's take a quick look at what they had to show us. So I can't speak to the live panel that they did at San Diego Comic-Con. All the information I'm drawing upon here has been taken from the panel summary that they did on a live stream on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel. So Emily, Lenny, and Tony on some sofas around the back of the Hasbro booth did a live stream about 20-25 minutes, retread the Rattler information that had been in the promo video. Again, I'll reiterate, I'm not going to touch on that today. I'm going to do that in a separate vid. And then they gave us the reveals that I'm about to talk about now. So all the pictures, most all of the pictures here are from Hasbro Pulse's own social media, from their Facebook page or their Instagram page, or I've screen capped them from the panel summary that they did after the fact. So that's where all this info is coming from. And they kicked things off on that stream summary, on that panel summary stream, with some render reveals, showing off some figures that are coming down the pipeline in the near future. I imagine. I suspect we'll see these at the likes of PulseCon and 1027 maybe, but who knows, maybe into next year. And the first one on the list was the Claw and Pilot here. So, funnily enough, in my own live stream on Thursday night, the Claw was mentioned, and lo and behold, here it was. The next day I got up and caught up with with the vid, and here's the Claw. Obviously a very popular kind of vintage G.I. Joe vehicle. I know I've heard people talking about wanting these in the collection, part of the ubiquitous image, particularly for cartoon fans. You know, the Claw is well known in the kind of Sunbow cartoon fan base there. There was a few bits, just checking my notes here, a few bits they mentioned on the stream there about the swappable heads, having several heads, and obviously the helmet there, which is nice. So a bit of storytelling, different scenarios with the the goggles and the mask, for example, and then two heads with different ethnic origins, where you can see the eyes there with the helmet, which is nice, fine. We've seen this pilot before, so all good on that front. It's a decent figure. They mentioned a few kind of features there. So the landing gear is movable, the wing flaps are movable, which is nice. And we could also see from the digital render lots of decals and stuff on there to bring it to life and give it some flavor, which is nice to see. That might be quite small there, so I'll just flash it up while I'm talking for another minute or two over the top of me, full screen, so folks can examine that a little bit more closely. Lots of accessory stuff in there. She's got they mentioned the drum fed shotgun. I can't remember. I was trying to remember whether we've seen that before. I don't have one, but that doesn't mean it wasn't on a figure that I didn't purchase for myself. But you've got the drum fed shotgun, the pistol with the suppressor on it there, the Uzi. We've seen the pistol and the Uzi before. Got the foot stand. I suspect the foot stand is necessary to make the pilot stand while wearing the wings, as they've got it depicted here. And then a couple of energy effects, blast effects, sorry, which I think are probably for the missiles, I suspect. I don't think they look big and chunky enough for the turbines on the Claw there. And they also mentioned that the handles, the steering handles, are movable too. So lots of little kind of man-child playtime functionality in there, tinkery-do bits and bobs. Very popular vehicle from back in the day. I think it's fine. I'm probably going to skip it, if I'm being perfectly honest, but this is more about space for me, and I'm already kind of starting to. I only dip into the smaller kind of vehicle ranges, and I just can't see me displaying this one a great deal. My trouble bubble is sitting in the box a lot, but I've got no criticisms particularly. I like what I'm seeing. I think it's a decent set, and one definitely for the folks who've been eagerly anticipating a claw. So the next render reveal they gave us was Leatherhead. Very, very popular character. Obviously, been a high demand for this guy since G.I. Joe Classified started from the outset. Looks like a decent sergeant soldier fella there. You know, there's not some of these characters. It's a bit hard to find new and interesting commentary to make on them because he's a dude with a hat and a uniform on. I'm obviously a big fan of the stash. Love a good classic stash. They were mentioning about how they had the stubble, the 5 o'clock shadow going all the way down the neck there. Tony seemed very proud of of the job he'd done on that. And they mentioned about the shooting glasses, giving him the shooting glasses, just an added little element there. But there are a couple of things that stand out on this render that I'm keen on. I love the fact that we're now starting to see more and more closed fist hand swaps as a kind of more of a standard feature in the packets with the figures. You know, I've said this before, that you know, the Yo Joe closed fist should just come as standard with every single G.I. Joe character in G.I. Joe Classified, if you get what I mean. So yeah, really pleased to see that. His weaponry selection's decent. Again, I'm not sure, someone will have to tell me, please remind me in the comments down below. I don't think we've seen that rifle before, or if we have, again, it might be with a character that I don't own. But nice to see something. It's a bit of a nod towards the vintage OG figure. He had a rifle like that. Otherwise, he looks like a decent sculpt. I was curious about the on his left thigh there. There's like a little radio in a pouch. I was wondering if maybe the radio was removable or not. He's obviously got the holster for his pistol there on the right-hand side, but on the left-hand thigh, it's got like a little radio aerial sticking out, and I was wondering if that was something you could pop out or not. Possibly not. They tend to depict them, don't they, on the digital renders, if it's a thing, you know, that you can interact with and do stuff with, but that would be nice to see if it is. A little bit of world-building kind of accessory that's outside of weaponry. I like it when we get a few bits and bobs to help bring the storytelling to life and give it some depth and stuff, you know. They didn't mention whether the hat was removable or not, but I think it's going to be removable, right? Surely it's going to be removable, but they didn't mention that, but I'd be very, very eager to see if it was. But yeah, good solid figure. You know, he's in a uniform, but the sculpting detail looks good. I like the variety of paint applications on the flat jacket there with the clasps, the grenades, and the shoulder pads and stuff, just giving it a bit of colour. He's got the bracelet on as well from the vintage inspiration. So yeah, lots to like about it. And, you know, even as a standard kind of uniform boy, he's got a lot to offer. So I think this one will be a pre-order for me when he finally comes around. Yeah, I like the look of this one, definitely. So the next digital render reveal, probably the standout digital render reveal for me, was Xander. Finally, we have Xander. We've known he's been on the name-only list for a while, so we've known he's on the way. But here we go. He's getting even more closer, imminently more closer. I keep pointing on that side because I've placed my camera on the opposite side of the screen today. So yeah, really excited about this one. I think the digital render is looking great, and if this is realized in three-dimensional plastic as it appears to be in the digital render, I'll be a very happy chappy indeed. I'll just check my notes. So a couple of bits that they mentioned on the stream, and then a handful of observations of my own. So the neck scarf he's got there, the pink neck scarf, is colour matched to the leather jacket that Zorana wears. In fact, they described it as the torn off section of Zorana's jacket around his neck. Nice bit of storytelling there, a nice bit of colour continuity just to give it some flavour, and you know, just a bit of storytelling around that kind of the bond of the twins there, which is really nice to see, and I like little touches like that for sure. They did also mention that even though he's got the flat jacket, there are details underneath the flat jacket, so that'll be interesting to see when it comes along, so you can keep the flat jacket on or take it off and make him look a little bit more classic Xander dreadnocky, you know, in aesthetic. And then they mentioned about the skull details. Got the skull details on his shoulder pad and the little skull detail on the belt buckle there, just to make him look and feel a bit more dreadnocky. And I'm all up for that, absolutely. The dreadnoughts, one of the things with the dreadnought selection is those extra little sculpted details, really bringing them to life. My torch still hasn't come. I've been charged for it, but there's a problem with the shipping. But he certainly has a lots of like nice sculpted details, as does the aforementioned Zorana, and anyway the Nox in general. So having these extra kind of sculpted details, there's like little chainmail bits there in his shoulder pads that caught my eye. And if you notice on his left foot, that boot, it's got like a toe cap spike on it for, you know, really for stabbing people when he kicks them, which I think is like evil but awesome in that evil villain kind of way, which is really sweet. So yeah, looking really good, great. Got the, you know, the wallet chain in there, all separate paint application, separate paint application on the belt buckle. That's all very exciting to me. And the gear looks all new as well. New backpack, got his funky kind of harpoon crossbowy thing there. That's weird look. Well, is that blade? Have we seen the higher blade before? Again, remind me in the comments down below. You folks know I'm a bit, got a dreadful memory for some of this stuff sometimes. But yeah, just a funky selection of weaponry. Great looking figure. Head sculpt looks great. The body sculpt looks great. Lots of great colours. Anyway, I'm all about this one. This is probably the digital render reveal I'm most excited about, and will definitely be pre-ordering this bad boy when he comes down the pipeline. Okay, so that was the sneak peek digital renders for future figures, but they did also share with us some figures that have already gone up for pre-order. So I made my pre-orders yesterday. Go to Hasbro Pulse or your preferred retailers. You've got options beyond Hasbro Pulse, unlike us here in the UK and Europe in the EU. But these are all available for pre-order. So all the next little batch, aside from one, you can go and make a pre-order for right now. You know, finish this video first, obviously, but right now they're available. And they kick things off with two new 60th anniversary figures. The first of which was the classic sniper. That's the phrase they used to describe this one. So we've got this female sniper figure here, decked out with a load of snipery gear and whatnot. I know that I've seen out and about on socials that the fact that this is a female sniper has put the cat among the pigeons a little bit, but this is not an issue for me. I'm not seeking any kind of real-world realism around, you know, because, you know, they don't have female snipers in the Marines or whatever. I don't know what the justification is for the displeasure, to be honest. I'm in it for the make-believe, so that's fine by me. Yeah, I'm kind of into this one, pretty keen on it, to be fair. She's looking good. Again, just to start with the things they mentioned on stream, so they drew attention to the ghillie suit, soft goods ghillie suit there. They said they were very pleased with the work that their soft goods team had done for them, and pointed out that it was a little bit shiny, but not too shiny, and all this kind of stuff. But it looks decent. I'll show you some of the promo pictures in a minute. They talked about the head swap, so it's not a full. You've got the kind of sun hat that you can take off and replace with the baseball cap and the goggles, like the replaceable hair, they said. But then you've also got the head swap in the commando mode with the face paint and the head scarf on too. Like that, I love having options and variety to allow me to tell different types of stories and have different types of man-child playtime with my figures. That all adds to the experience for me. So the commando head as well, particularly, I like the look of. But actually, all three heads are kind of eye-catching as far as I'm concerned. The gear is all right. I mean, when are they going to, number one, just put that gimmicky sniper rifle to bed? Because I don't like it at all. That rifle needs to go. I blessed Lenny, and I love the work he does, but he's so proud of this rifle and it breaking down and fitting in that case. But this is the third figure now that we've had with this rifle, and I didn't like it from the first release. It's just too flimsy and thin. It doesn't look hardcore enough for me. I want a nice hardcore sniper rifle, you know. But all the accessory selection is reuse. You know, the submachine gun there, and the sniper rifle, and the wind monitor thing. That's all from low light You know, the backpack's reuse and the pistol and the submachine gun are reuse. I'm not very keen on the fact that they're using this green plastic again as well for the weaponry. I don't like the look of that. It kind of sort of works on the sniper rifle in this because they put the camouflage stripes on it, which kind of then allows my imagination to engage with it better. But when they're just the solid green weapons, I don't like the look of them at all. That I find that puts me off a little bit. But overall, it's a nice figure. I like the look of it. Definitely want some more kind of feminine energy in my G.I. Joe collection. In fact, my display up there right now is all my female figures that I own, and it was looking a bit thin on the ground, even when topped up with the likes of Pandora from Action Force. So a bit more feminine energy is not a bad thing in my humble opinion, and I think there's lots of storytelling fun you can have with this one. So yeah, I'm really into that. Shooting the Galaxy, of course, had some promo images that they were sharing for this little batch here, and that often sells the figure to me. Sometimes when I'm on the fence, I'll see the Shooting the Gallery promo picture, and that'll just tip me right over the other side, and I'm like, yes, I'm in on this one. And the female sniper was, well, I was already kind of in on it, to be fair, but the Shooting the Gallery pics definitely brought it to life for me. I mean, look at the commando here, with the face paint there across her face. We've got the like the communications gear with the headset and the microphone and stuff on there. All looking really awesome, doing great work. Oh, too soon, too fast, slow down. I thought I had the... Oh, so I missed one out, but go and take a look on Hasbro Pulse, guys, because there's one of the ghillie suit all mixed in with that underbrush that they've got at the base of the picture there. So if you were on the fence, maybe these promo pictures will take you... help you make a decision? I don't know. Right, okay, well, I accidentally spoiled it too soon, but you're probably already aware it's out there, because the second 60th anniversary figure was the Halo jumper here. The Halo jumper, again, there's a few points that they made, you know, a fuss about on the stream there. The parachute as a selling, you know, a unique selling point there was something that they drew attention to. They said it's really quite big, although they did say that it's more for display purposes, and actually it's not great for the actual active, you know, chucking him out the tree to parachute kind of thing. I don't know if that's legit or whether they've had to say that because of the cover your ass legal bollocks and malarkey. I'm not sure, but that kind of then I flinched a bit at that. I was like, oh really? That's sad. They did also say that the parachute would fall down and fit in that rucksack as well. I'll show you, hopefully I've added it on, but one of the Shooting the Galaxy promo pictures shows him opening up the case and putting his chute in. But otherwise, again, I like the figure. All right, it's a lot of reuse, but I like the fully camoed up face. I like the helmet with the visor and then the breathing apparatus for when he's halo jumping out of the back of the plane and all that. That's really nice. It's reused weaponry, but it's good chunky weaponry that I appreciate. Lots of options, separate helmets. You can put the night vision goggles on. He's got flight goggles, all sorts of stuff in there. So lots of things that you can just use with this figure or integrate into your storytelling accessory bits box that you can then use across the selection of your G.I. Joe Classified Series collection, which is really nice to see. So really into that. The parachute, I was excited about it when I first saw the pictures of it from the Hong Kong convention. That had leaked out early doors on Thursday. But then as we got to the stream and they said it wasn't available for parachuting, really, you know, practically usable. And then the more I've kind of stepped away and thought about it and reflected on it, it just feels a bit gimmicky now. I can see myself sort of shoving it in the backpack and that being the end of it, which is a shame because, you know, parachutes are cool. Let's have a quick skip through the Shooting the Galaxy promo pictures then. So we've got the Halo jumper, you know, coming into land there. That picture doesn't really give us a full appreciation of the size of the parachute, to be fair. But if you have a look around, if you go rooting around, if you want to check out my live stream, there was a picture of it in hand from Hasbro Hong Kong. So that's looking pretty sweet. Here he is on the floor. You can see that opened up backpack there with the space to put the parachute in. He's cutting his cords there to free himself up. But the visor is obviously angled up on top of the helmet, so there's a bit of articulation in that. And you can get a bit of a better appreciation of the colours, the different colours in the uniform and the outfit there, which helps bring him to life a little bit more. Doesn't look quite so... you know, monochromatic in the green there. So that's looking pretty sweet. Here he is getting stuck on a tree on the side of a cliff. Nice little cheeky bit of humour there. So, good-looking figure, lots of storytelling options. Yes, there's quite a lot of reuse, which does make me balk a little bit, but there's enough variety in the way that they've presented that reuse that yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it, definitely. Unlike others I'm about to comment on. But yeah, great figure, and I think this one will be a pre-order for me too. Okay, folks, well, at this point, they revisited the Falcon and Quarrel 2-pack reveal that we'd already seen from the Walmart Collector-Con. I've done a whole separate video on that when we saw the reveal from the Walmart Collector-Con, so I'll link into the description down below if you want to go check that one out. I'm going to jump ahead now to Starduster. Now, Starduster is the one that's the exception. That's not available for pre-order yet. They said this is going to be their PulseCon exclusive, so keep an eye out for that when PulseCon comes along. I also had a bit of a chat with my mate Connor on my live stream this week on the subject of Starduster, so I'm not going to retread too much of the detail there. But I was a bit underwhelmed by Starduster, if I'm honest. He's decent enough. He's interesting colour scheme there. There's a bit of character and a bit of personality in it, but the fact that it's so heavily reused of the Duke book from the retro cardback Duke there, and all the gear is all kind of reused. And I'm like, well, this is supposed to be a deluxe convention exclusive. There should be something a bit more special to me about deluxe convention exclusives. This amount of reuse on like a subline repaint or something, fine, get it. This amount of reuse on the 60th anniversary, all right, I sort of get it. But on a convention exclusive, a deluxe convention exclusive, that irks me a little bit. Because the only new thing really in here is the head sculpt. But it's still got a lot going for it. I'm being a bit harsh, but it does still have a lot going for it. I like the Rocketeer helmet thing, the jetpack. I know that's reused from the Steel Brigade there, or the is it Steel Brigade? Yeah, Steel Brigade. There. Hand swaps are standard, including the closed fists, which is a plus for me. The classic Sunbow laser cartoon rifle. Obviously, that's great if you want to do some nice classic recreations of your favourite cartoon scenes and stuff. I've used that a few times with my grunt and stuff. So that's all fine. It's got a lot of equipment. I'm not a big fan of the tan-coloured bandolier and holsters and knife sheath. That to me, clashes. It doesn't look right with the blue colour scheme, in my humble opinion, but other opinions are available. Oh, and I mentioned the hands. That's something else that's not a direct replication of Duke. The fact that he's got gloves on is a bit different. So the only thing that's really new is the head sculpt. That's the only thing that's really adding anything new. So if you're really desperate for a Starduster, here you go, got a Starduster. I'm actually on the fence. I may skip this one. I don't know. I just, for the deluxe price tag for everything you get in, and he's not a character I'm particularly too hot on. I don't have strong nostalgic urges to pick this one up. The only thing that they did also mention is that, it's not been depicted, although there's some photos of him in the cabinet at San Diego Comic-Con with this item, there's a little cereal box that you get that you can kind of, sticky tap together to make the G.I. Joe cereal, in acknowledgement of the fact that Starduster was a cereal mail order figure back in the day. So a little Easter egg, tip of the hat there towards that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I might be skipping Starduster. There's just not, for a character that I don't have strong nostalgic connections to, there's got to be something that really makes me go, ooh. And just the volume of reuse and stuff in here, there's not enough ooh. There's just not enough ooh. Do you know what I mean? And the colours look weird to me. I can't get on board with the colours. So there you go. But you may think differently. Let me know in the comments down below if Starduster's your guy, if you're going for this. All right, next up then, and I think this might be my standout in the pre-orders this time around. We've got Road Pig. Look at this big dreadnought bastard here. Looks amazing. Really on board with this one. A couple of things were curious to me. I'll talk a little bit on the points that they made during the stream, and then I'll add a bit of commentary of my own. So one thing actually on the stream, funnily enough, just after Starduster, is that they mentioned, Tony said, as you can see, there's a lot of reuse here, which obviously there isn't. It's a whole new body shape, whole new book that they've used there. There is a little bit of reuse in the shield. Obviously, we had that originally with Shockwave. But I thought it was interesting that he made that comment, just sort of identified really how plugged in they are to kind of community commentary about this stuff, but also a little bit ironic that he made this comment just after He talked about Stardust, but anyway. But yeah, this guy looks beefy, and Lenny did say he's big. You know, he's a big figure, which is great because that's how I, like my mind's eye picture of Road Pig in the comic books was this big hulking menace. You know, he also mentioned about giving him some extra. They had the cinder block, the classic vintage look cinder block hammer, but they also gave him that big sculpted boar hammer as well for some more flavour. Also mentioned about the alt heads. They've got the screaming head and then the pig skin mask head, which is just fucking awesome, like proper goth rock there. I love that to bits. And then they also mentioned that he's got gold canines in the shouty face. And one thing they didn't mention, but I did notice in the digital render as well, he's got this the kind of Mad Max style face mask there. So loads of flavour. Then his pit bull there. They mentioned about the fact that he's articulated, got the good boy face and the growly face. They do great work with the animal companions on G.I. Joe Classified. So I've got no reason to think it won't be great work on this one too. And then just lots of extra stuff, you know, the body sculpt looks great, lots of sculpted details and paint applications in his customized American football chest section there. The tattoos on him there with the dreadnoughts across the belly. I think that's fun. They've got his wrist-mounted crossbow sculpted on there as well, which is a part of the character's kind of original identity. So lots of stuff going on there. Got all the sculpted details, that nasty-looking knee pad and stuff. Fists, hand swaps, again, as standard. Love it, love it, love it. I've seen her out and about on socials. A few folks who perhaps less eager on the more youthful face look, but I seem to remember I haven't read as deeply into Devil's Due as I have Marvel and Image comics, but I do remember a few issues that I have read and looked at on the Devil's Due. He does have a more youthful look to him, so I think they've perhaps drawn quite a bit of inspiration from that. But all over this one, made the pre-order. I'm very, very happy. I think it'd be a great addition to the Dreadnoks corner of my collection there. And I just can't wait to have this one in hand. This is probably my largest standout out of the whole batch of stuff that we've seen this time around. I just think it looks really, really awesome. Very excited for just a whole different flavour, new book, looks great. Great job, Hasbro. But of course, if you think different, then let me know in the comments down below. Next on the list was this bad boy here, the Raptor. The digital render there had him with his full wingspan out. So again, I'll put it over the top of the screen. You can just hear me talking over the top of the picture. So you can just have a brief moment to have a closer look while I'm chunnering on. But yeah, they mentioned that the wingspan on this bad boy was 12 inches wide. And they'd spent a lot of time trying to get the articulation right. One of the promo photos, in fact, shows us the articulation. Well, all the promo photos show us the articulation in action. They've got the kind of curve up there, and Lenny was saying they wanted it to look like he was a diving falcon. And then he's got the shielding, wrap it around in front of him so he can use the bulletproof wings to protect himself if he's being shot at there, which looks really cool and awesome. They've got the claws, obviously very on character there. The headrest, the bird headrest is removable. Got his Falcon companion loaded up with weapons. Just, yeah, lots to love about this one. If you, like me, get excited about the really weird, wacky, crazy, idiosyncratic stuff in G.I. Joe, then this is clearly going to appeal to you the same way it's appealing to me, because it's just balmy, and I love it when they get balmy. So lots to like there. And I think just... I don't know, just look at the feathery sculpting details in that kind of waistcoaty thing that he's wearing, and the trimmings on his arms there, and in the headrest and the face mask and stuff. Yeah, it just looks really cool. I'm just a bit skeptical about that wingspan. I've really been struggling with my Angel from Marvel Legends, who's got a big wingspan on him. And as I mentioned before, I avoid the vehicles because I've got a bit of a space issue. But with the articulation there, I'm hoping maybe I can get something done that looks reasonable when I pop him out on display in amongst the rest of my guys. Although one thing I did notice, just to jump back a couple of slides, he's on the blue good guy background. And Raptor, from my comic book reading days, was definitely a bad guy. Should be on the red Cobra background, shouldn't he? Anyway, I don't know if that was an oversight, maybe just an error. or whether there's a storyline that I've not encountered where Raptor goes over to the good guys, like maybe throws his lot in with Storm Shadow or something. I don't know. So let me know in the comments down below if I've missed something there. But he's a bad guy, right? He's definitely a Cobra. I remember him being a bad guy. 100% remember him being a bad guy. So yeah, maybe that's just a mistake. Who knows? Okay, and then we're still in the pre-order stuff. So next up was a 2-pack. It was the Steel Core versus Twilight Guard figure pack there. We'd seen a little peek at these two from, again, from the Hong Kong, the Hasbro Hong Kong display at Anicon, or AnimeCon, taking place in Hong Kong right now. So we've seen in-hand ones of those floating around from their display cabinet. But a big old chunky 2-pack, just a nice troop builder 2-pack. The Steel Core commander, leader, sergeant dude, I've forgotten specifically what his name is fine. You know, he's got the gold version of the helmet and stuff there. The weapon selection is just a big old batch of weapon reuse that we've seen from other sets, but could be handy if you need a boost to your bits box. You've got your blast effects there. He's okay. I mean, I've skipped the Steel Brigade altogether, so already I'll call it out now. I'm going to be skipping this 2-pack. The Twilight Guard. When I did some research on it, I found it as the Shadow Guard. This like elite Crimson Guard, as Lenny mentioned on the stream there. Is curious, looks curious, is interesting, is a little bit head-turning to me, but not enough for me to dive into a 2-pack purchase. But the soft goods cape is interesting there. They pointed that out on the stream. They were also talking about the colours there, like Twilight Guards. They're using blacks and purples to be kind of thematic around that. And the colour scheme does look nice with the black, the grey and the purple in there, with that little flash of orange on the shoulder pad there. And the shoulder cape is all right. The soft goods is all right. I'm not always the biggest fan of soft goods. But the weaponry selection is, again, all reuse, but could be a good injection to your bits box. I don't know. They didn't bring me around. The promo pictures do sell it a bit more. You know, look at him, looking rough and tough there, for sure. Although, is that smoke effect included? Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. Looking nice and rough and tough there. It does look badass, but I've just skipped Steel Brigade altogether, you know. I mean, look at that, with the cape flapping in the wind there. Looking like he's about to get all Dark Avengery. You know, it's an interesting set. I can see it appealing to some people, but it's just not for me. Nah. So that's it on the pre-orders, but they did give us some name-only reveals to chew on as well. Here's the list of the name-only reveals. So we had Heavy Duty and Law and Order. Law and Order in particular, I know a lot of people have been waiting for. I've been eager to get Law and Order because I like messing around with the G.I. Joe the movie space with some of my setups and displays. But Heavy Duty there as well. Then they revealed, as a name-only reveal, the next retro wave, which was going to be Rock and Roll, Dr. Mindbender, and Viper. Although they had mentioned that we were going to be getting a new Mindbender without the soft goods, I think was what Emily said in a previous stream. What was interesting to me, or was eye-catching to me, was that the rock and roll picture they had was the old Hector Garrido card back picture in the original look, you know, the all-green look with the helmet. So whether that's them indicating we're getting a different rock and roll in the retro line in the green uniform, or whether it's just going to be a repaint of the rock and roll with the Duke helmet thrown in, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do with that, whether it's a fresh rock and roll or whether it's just making him all one colour all the way down and then giving him the helmet, the classic OG-13 look helmet. I don't know, but interesting. But yeah, the Dr. Mindbender they've mentioned previously. I'm sure they mentioned previously. Let me know if I'm misremembering this. But they said there was going to be a new Mindbender coming along, but not soft goods, which would be curious. I don't know what they're going to do with the Viper, the retro Viper, because the Cobra Island one is pretty already retro-y, isn't it? So there's your name-only list, folks. Interesting, curious to see what they do with the retros there and what direction they go in. But Heavy Duty, nah, I'm a bit meh. We'll see what it looks like when it comes along. But Law and Order, I'm like, yes, very much wanted a Law and Order. Thank you very much. And then just one final note. They talked about a cryptic tease. that they wanted to do here at the end, and they showed us this image that I've got up on screen. Again, I'll put it over the top of me for a moment so you can take a look at the full size of the picture. And they said, oh, cryptic tease in this one. And there's, I know a few folks were like, whoa, that's the, you know, G.I. Joe headquarters in the background. I think that's very unlikely that we'll be getting a G.I. Joe headquarters. That's just, I mean, if at the price point and the size of a Rattler, can you imagine what's going on with that? But there is, on the back of one of those claws, the third one, furthest from the back, like a snake eyes, I think, leaping on the back of the wings. So I don't know if that's what they were indicating as the tease, maybe. Yeah, the Rattler's on there. We know the Rattler's on the way, so I'm not sure what they were getting at with this cryptic tease. The only thing I can imagine is it's that Joe character that's pretty sure that's the snake eyes leaping on the back of that claw at the back there. So give me, I've got no ideas right now. I tried thinking of some stuff that I could bring up on the video, but nothing came to mind. So let me know in the comments down below. What's your prediction as to what this tease is indicating to us? What do you think they're getting at with this? Could it be that Snake Eyes version 4 that we feel like Lenny was dropping hints about on the Toy Kind of Mood interview that he did a couple of months ago? Don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on that. Okay, great. Let's wrap it up. And there we go. There's the San Diego Comic-Con reveals. A lot in there to like. I'm definitely going to go in on more than I'm not going to go in on. And like things like the claw and the pilot, I think look decent. They look nice. I'm just not going in on them because I've decided to minimize my vehicle purchasing activity, and I consider that kind of in the vehicle bracket. In fact, out of them all, I think the only one that I've said the 2-pack and Starduster, and I may even still go for Starduster in the end. So definitely going for more than I'm not going for. Very pleased to see a little better kind of stuff going on with the weapon selections and that, a little less heavily reusing. Road Pig has blown me away. Also very pleased to see Xander. Obviously, I'm a Dreadnoks fan. I've mentioned that before on the channel. Anyway, I'm waffling on. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on the reveals that we received from San Diego Comic-Con, so drop into the comments down below. Let's have a bit of a natter about it. Who's your standout? Who's your least favourite? Who are you pre-ordering, not pre-ordering? All that kind of good stuff. Let me know. Otherwise, thanks for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate you watching my video. I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. And it'd be nice to see you around these parts again sometime soon. So take it easy, folks. See you later.